Welcome to the family meet. Here we come together with extended family, direct family, and close connections, whether it be bond or friendship, to explore the profound importance of family in our lives. And through their heartfelt stories and personal experiences, we uncover some of the lessons, challenges, and joys that make our family relationships so vital. But at the heart of our conversation is the simple but powerful truth that we are all a part of the same human family. And the more deeply we understand and embrace this connection, the better and brighter life will be on planet Earth. And with that said, I have the unique honor and privilege to be not just in the room with a patriarch of the family, but the patriarch of the family meetings, James Ballard. What's going on, James Ballard?
Everything is going good. What about you, Mr. Nelson?
That is going great. It is getting better. I know that we've been trying to have this conversation for the last decade. I think it's been.
It's been a minute, but I'm a busy man in these younger years, so I kind of keep myself quite busy. But we're here now, and what are we going to get into?
Well, first of all, let me just say I honor you, my brother. Even though you were called little brother because you were my mom's little brother, we ended up calling you little brother. You're more
Mhm.
like my big brother because you actually helped raise us from children. So I have the greatest respect and honor for you. But what I want to ask is, you are the gentleman that actually instituted the concept of these monthly family meetings. And I want to ask, how did that come about? What percolated in your experience to bring about that revelation?
For the reunion?
Or no, the meetings, the monthly family meetings. I remember back in the day, we used to have card parties, and you had organized a Christmas savings club kind of thing, and that's
Oh
kind of
yeah,
how
yeah.
that began. Tell me what inspired that.
Well, the family was getting, I guess, distant, and a few of us had talked about starting a club or family get together like on weekends. So I think that's how it all came about. I talked to your mother and
Mm-hmm.
baby sister, so we decided to start doing card games.
Mm,
And from that, more people start coming, family members and friends. And from that, we started thinking about doing something bigger. So, we went from there to step two, step three, and all that good stuff with the family reunion.
interesting, interesting. Now you still coordinating the family reunion, is that correct?
We haven't done it, since COVID,
Okay.
but we was talking about letting some of the younger people get involved and start planning those that's interested.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
Mm-hmm.
I think I did it for the last, 20 years or more.
At least, at
Yeah, at
least.
least. So I think I gave your daughter the book with the names in, people
Mm-hmm.
that the family member that's in Detroit and Newbern and
Mm-hmm.
Tuscaloosa, Chicago, all those places. So we're in the process now of trying to get it started again.
Interesting. Interesting. It just so happens, I spoke to a mutual friend of ours the other day. He told me to tell you hi. His name is Tony Collins. Tony Collins used to work at the post office where you were a manager, I believe, during that
Yeah,
time.
I remember that name, Tony Collins. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
he,
remember. I remember.
he's a prolific musician. But I'm saying it to say, most of my life I've known when you were in the military, you worked at the post office many years. But what's been one of the most, I guess, rewarding or engaging professions that you have been involved in over the course of your experience?
Um, well, I was at the post office for 32 years,
Really?
and it was kind of interesting because I started out as a part-time helper,
Mm-hmm.
dumping the mail, and from there, I went to, I changed over to a clerk. And after a few years, I got into the training for manager, and I ended up making a title supervisor for the
Mm,
last 2 years I was there.
mm,
So it was rewarding. You get to do a lot of different things, and you travel a little bit, and you meet people. So that and the military, I
mm,
enjoyed being in the military. I was in the Navy for those 4 years. I didn't go back because I didn't want to go back to Vietnam, but I
mm.
enjoyed that too.
I can imagine you wouldn't want to go back to Vietnam. Everybody's
No.
trying to get out of there. Well, I do
Yes.
remember, and I don't know whether or not she was instrumental in your experience, but I remember my mom was instrumental in a lot of people, like my sister, my brother, myself. several other people who actually worked at the post office. How did
Yes.
you get engaged with that? Did she bring you into that picture?
Yes, Dorothy was there, and I had talked with her. And when the test opened back up, I remember she called and told me the test was open. Back then, I think the test was like 4 or 5 hours.
Mm,
And they cut it down to like maybe 2 hours or less.
hmm.
But yeah, she did. She notified me that the test was open. I took the test and passed, and the rest is history.
Rest is history. Well, let me ask you this, little brother. In the course of your experience, what have been some of the greatest challenges that you have ever faced?
Mm, I guess dealing mostly with the family situation because, we had a lot of ups and downs and distant family members, one going one way and one going another, but we try to keep it together. When the main person was alive, that's my mother.
Hmm.
She would always, talk to us and bring us all together. And when she passed, I guess it fell on me or those that wanted to try to keep something together.
Hmm.
So it was kind of interesting because everybody is not going to think the same way all the time.
Hmm.
So what happened, we didn't do nothing for a few years, and then we finally got together and started having a thing in Newport, the little town that we was born in.
Hmm.
And it got kind of big after a while, and we thought about, well, why not get a letter together and send it to all of the family members
Hmm.
and start going to different states. So
Hmm.
that's what we did. We was in Memphis for a couple of years. We went to, I think, Georgia. We did it in Chicago. We came to Tuscaloosa, and it may be a few other places that sort of skipped my
Hmm.
mind now. But we
Hmm.
went around to different states. So
Hmm.
that was very rewarding, and to see the family come together and everybody, keeping in touch and having a good time, just
Hmm.
talking about family, period.
Dude, I personally remember occasions when there would be gatherings where you meet people and you never know. You may walk past somebody on the street and they family. You don't even know they
And you
family.
don't even know who your family members are. And that's another thing that caught my interest, so that we would grow up and know who is related to who. Because that can be a dangerous thing when you don't know your relative, you
Hmm.
know. So,
Mm.
yeah.
Well, let me ask this question in terms of some of the most outstanding achievements that you've experienced over the course of your life. What would you count that up to?
Other than working most of my life, when I retired, I did go to culinary college to be a
Is
chef.
that right?
And
Oh, I
I
remember you can
graduated.
really cook. You can really cook.
Yeah, I graduated after 2 years, and the Chicago Sun-Times decided to put me in the paper, with my head and in the kitchen there at the school. So that was rewarding. I finally finished it. I had started once and I stopped, but I started back and I finished it. So I got my
Mm,
certificates, for those 2 years.
interesting. Now,
And I
currently,
did cater for a while, but I gave that up. So now I'll just cook every once in a while.
currently, in the context of your immediate family or your extended family, are there things that you do to continue to maintain communication or build those bonds?
Yeah, I was a foster parent for years and I still am.
Right.
Yeah, I adopted three of my sons
Really?
and we all keep in contact. One of them is here now. He's working on his, I believe, the master in psychology.
Really?
Yeah,
Whoa.
I told him he can work on my mind when he graduates. So he got his first degree already, so he's working on the second one. And I've helped, I guess, about 5 or 6 young men, to graduate from high school and they get on. Some go to college, some get out, in the workforce.
Hmm.
Now that has really been rewarding to see some of the young
Really? I can
men that
imagine.
I brought in, brought them in my home, and my very first young man was a Caucasian because when I got involved, they asked me, they say, well, what race you want to help? I say, well, we'll leave it open because if they don't mind, I don't mind. So I
Okay.
had Caucasian, Mexican, Black, of course,
Wow.
mixed. So every race, and I hadn't had any major issue doing that. During the whole time, no major
Hmm.
issue.
Hmm. Interesting. You know, that speaks volumes to your character, your personality, as well as the alignment with the divine. Because the one thing that Christ said was that he came for the atonement, which was the at one ment, or helping people understand the unification of what we are already. We
Hmm.
don't realize it, but we're already connected. So I
Yes,
really,
yes.
I really respect you taking that approach, you know, not being biased in any way, and yet making your contribution to the next generation in such a powerful way, man. That's admirable.
Mhm.
Let me ask you this. If you could say something to my family or to Generation General, like out of all of the experiences that you've had, this is something that if I could just leave you with one jewel of truth, this is what I would say to impact in a positive way those that will follow for generations. What would that be?
Keep an open mind. Be ready to forgive those who has we think did us wrong, and then you have to forgive yourself also. And the most important thing is to keep the line of communication open. But
Mm,
if we can talk through it, we can get through it. And if we're not talking, we're not going
mm,
nowhere. So
that
keep the
is
line of communication open at all times.
that is powerful, man. I'm gonna take that to heart. I'm taking that to heart. I really, you know, I've been endeavoring to practice that, but I can see where when you don't, and sometimes because of friction from whatever origin, the solutions that could otherwise evolve and reveal themselves can't come to the surface because you ain't talking.
They got to keep talking. And if there is an issue, and there will be, and there has been, if we can talk about it, we can resolve it. Who
Well,
was it said that if he bring you to it, he'll bring you through it?
I don't know who said it, but it's true. True that.
I believe that too. Somebody said that a long time ago.
Dude, well, I want you to know, little brother, or I should say my big brother, man, I
Yes.
have the greatest love for you, the greatest respect and admiration, because I've seen you live your life. And the things that you're talking about doing, this ain't just talk. This is real on boots on the ground activity that's changing lives, man. So I think that sharing this with my family, they may have a great inspiration to say, okay, you know, there's a little bit more that I could do rather than just sit here and watch TV and scroll the internet. I could be doing
Yeah,
something
because
else.
we all can do something. We all can do something. And, Pastor Ballard, my brother, he always said if your hands is always closed, nothing can come in and nothing can go out.
Mm,
And that can also relate to your heart. You
hmm.
have to have an open heart to receive and give love.
Hmm. You're right about
So
that. And
I learned a lot from him when I was under his leadership.
dude, I as well, because he was
Yes.
one of the greatest lights. Well, I would say the first light. He was the first person that just really became conscious of the fact that this life is more than a notion. This is a real experience here, and you need to be taken with a great assault. Yes.
Right. One of his favorite sayings say, we know we didn't come here to stay, and if we know we got to go, it makes sense to have some place to move to. So you come in knowing that you're leaving, so you should be making plans. So when it's time to move, you want to move in the right direction.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That
150.
was one of his
100,
favorite sayings.
150. Dude, well, let me ask you this. How can people get in touch with you if it's possible? If somebody wanted to reach out to you, because that often happens as a result of sharing this information with my family.
Through Mr. Robert Nelson.
Okay, I am at your disposal, sir. I'll be your courier, your concierge. All right. With that
Okay.
said, do you have any closing thoughts before we close out this segment of the family meeting?
No, just say I want to say hi to everybody, and maybe the next reunion you would be there. Your family, your son, daughter, and everybody always been coming, off and on. So the next time, maybe you'll be involved in helping us plan, and Mr. Robert Nelson will be there also, right?
You put me on the spot there. And we got this on record, right?
There you go.
I'm gonna have to do something now. Yeah, you call me out.
Yes, yes. So not this year, of course, but maybe next year.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the young people and few of us seasoned citizen. I don't use the word old, but next year I will be 80 years old. I made
Oh,
79 my birthday.
congratulations, my brother.
Thank you. And next year I will be 80. But just because you accumulate the years, you don't have to sit back and get in a rocking chair.
Yeah.
I'll use my rocking chair when I get 95 or maybe 100.
Okay. All right. I
But
got
see,
you.
I plan to live to be 120.
I won't doubt
Say
it.
what?
I
Say
wouldn't
what?
doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it too. I've seen you go through stuff that would have killed most people never survive some of the stuff you'd have been through. So I don't know what it is, but you got it.
Yeah, I one of the things I've learned in these years, I used to live to eat. Now I eat to live.
Mm,
I changed my eating habits, because you know me when I was a younger man. I was out there, doing a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have been doing. I think most of us did. But Nit always said, as my mother, when you learn better, you do better.
yes, sir. This
So
is
I
true.
learned better, and the Lord is still blessing me because I'm always trying to help somebody, if
Mm,
I see a person need help. Me and the boys was out one night, and we saw this old lady, around the little mall here, and it was cold and raining. So we stopped and I asked her, could we help? And she said, well, I'm just gonna go right over here. I said, well, can I give you something? So I gave her a piece of money. So when I get back in the car, the boys want to know what I gave her. I said I gave her $100 bill. She said that's why she was jumping up. So, but that $100, she act like I had given her $1 million.
that's
And
how
I
it
can
was.
imagine if you're homeless and hungry and out there, $100 will help you out.
Yes, that's right. That's right, sir.
Yes, yes.
Let us take that in consideration and do our own philanthropic things where we can, where we are. With that said,
Yes.
we're going to close out this session of the Family Meet with James Ballard. Sir, I want you to know I'm grateful for you showing up and sharing.
And there's another saying as a radio station I listen to. It says, the world is full of good people. If you can't find one, be one.
I like that. I like that. With that said, we out.